What's up guys, it's Ian here, back today with another video, and today I wanted to talk about the egregore. What is the egregore? The egregore definitionally refers to a collective thought form, or a group idea or a group consciousness formed around a given idea or a set of ideas. A person as an individual can subscribe to many separate egregores or egregore, I'm not quite sure what the plural is of it, but an individual can subscribe to many different egregore simultaneously. Think of them as overlapping Venn diagrams. The simplest examples of egregores are things that, common examples like alcohol usage, drunk people in bars, sports teams, fans all rooting for the same sports team, members of a political party, members of a given ideology, people forming a mob in a riot, right? Members of a gang or neighborhood watch or units in a military. Hopefully that's a decent list. It's not exhaustive, but hopefully that's a decent list to give you some context here. I originally stumbled upon the concept of egregore when I was doing research about alcohol, and I wanted to make a video about the concept of al-Kul, or the spirit devouring entity, spirit devouring demon. A lot of people say that al-Kul relates to alcohol. I've read a bit more, and some people say that the etymology or the word roots don't really line up there, and al-Kul, although al-Kul may refer to a spirit devouring entity, it may not necessarily have relation to alcohol. I still do kind of feel or think, it's my opinion, that alcohol and drug usage does affect you on a spiritual level, and it can lead you to egregores. And I originally stumbled upon the concept of egregore when I was looking into al-Kul and alcohol, because I wondered why it just seems like when you go to a bar or a party, you see so many people in this kind of groupthink ideology. Or why is it that when I don't go out to protests really, but when you go out to peaceful protests and they turn into a riot, if you were to take each of these individuals and interview them, obviously they don't think rioting and destroying property is a productive way to better society, but somehow in the moment they get taken over by egregore. Or not every country, let me preface this, not every country riots when their sports team loses, but in the United States, and to any Europeans or foreigners who hear this just sounds insane, but in the United States, a lot of the time when a sports team loses, the fans go out and riot and destroy the city. Sometimes when the sports team wins, they go out and destroy the city, which is much more insane than your team losing, which is already insane. But yeah, so I think all of these are examples of egregores. What gets deeper is, do secret societies know how to form an egregore when there wasn't one? Do they know how to create a group consciousness to permeate a group before the group even has the group consciousness? I think the original concept of egregore, somebody correct me in the comments if I'm wrong here, I think it came out around 19th century, in the 1900s, in French philosophy. But obviously the concept of mobs and groupthink has probably been around as long as humans have existed. It's probably something even older than human language. When you see animals hunting or prey animals escaping, they all have groupthink. They all have kind of a pre-programmed concept of groupthink. Obviously, humans have language and thumbs, and we can manipulate our thoughts and manipulate what other people think to a greater degree. And I think the very notion of egregore is dangerous to the extent to which it can prevent you from considering ideas on an individual basis, right? I think one of the most important things you can do is try to consider every single idea that reaches you on an individual basis. And of course, this does get complicated because based on your preconceived notions and your education as a child, this is going to affect the manner in which you evaluate ideas, but at least there's some manner in which you can evaluate ideas. If you just let the groupthink or the egregore guide you for the majority of your life decisions, you may wind up becoming an NPC and living your life on autopilot. And I don't mean to be derogatory when I say this, because to a large extent, I may be an NPC living my life on autopilot. There's some nihilist philosophers who even argue that free will is a myth and that we're all just pre-programmed into kind of tracks. Maybe there's a multiple universe theory out there that maybe in this universe we are in a pre-programmed track that gives us the illusion of choice, and in maybe some other universe you made another series of choices. But I guess the nihilist philosopher argument is that those choices were pre-programmed tracks in this particular iteration, or in this particular universe, in this particular simulation, whatever it is. If there's a creator, the creator created this particular track, and we are experiencing this particular track right now, right? And that's maybe just that whole concept on its own deserves a different video, a standalone, longer video. But yeah, today I really just wanted to talk about the concept of egregore. I've heard people say things like, oh, he only drinks once a day, he's not an alcoholic. He drinks a few times a week, he's not an alcoholic. I actually think maybe if you accept the fact that, okay, alcohol is destroying my health and it's terrible for me and I'm poisoning myself, but I'm doing it anyway because I'm trying to avoid my psychological misery, at least you have a well-formed outlook on it. But if you're completely in denial and you watch all the alcohol commercials and you see the famous soccer players kicking around a ball and being all happy, and all these laughing people are at the nightclubs drinking and having fun, meanwhile they're potentially destroying their health. And I'm not a saint here. I've drank in the past, and I'm not going to pretend that I haven't. So I've fallen victim to egregores, and it took very serious threats to my health to actually manage to quit. And I've been clean off of it for, I want to say 5-6 years. I've managed to avoid almost everybody from my past who drinks. I very sparingly will see people who drink, but yeah, even when I see people who drink, like, not all of them, but a lot of them, they've tried to convince me to start drinking. They'll even go so far as to offer to buy me drinks or offer me free drinks, sometimes 20 times in a night. And this is over like a several hour period. Maybe because the notion of an individual in their group that doesn't subscribe to their egregore, it gives some kind of spiritual pushback or some kind of energetic disruption. Because yeah, when I have gone to bars sparingly over the past 5 to 6 years, I could get you the exact dates if you care that much. I think there's a video further down in my YouTube channel. It's called Coming Clean or something like that. I think that's about quitting drinking, coming clean. But yeah, I will just say that it seems like whenever I've tried to associate myself with these groups of people, I don't fit in, and it seems like a very strange environment. Maybe I'm the strange one, but I think it actually is much more logical and reasonable to avoid substances that damage your health, if you're aware of it, especially if there's no benefit. A lot of things have a risk to reward balance, and some things have very little reward or some risk, or the reward is purely perceived reward or benefit, which can be a real benefit. But anyways, this video has been long enough. Don't let anybody influence you too much. Consider all the ideas that you encounter on an individual basis. And hopefully this video is useful food for thought. Yeah, don't even take everything I say at face value. These ideas are meant for you to consider and to broaden your perspective and give you more information to navigate the world and navigate your life. As always, please comment down below if you'd like to see any specific topics covered in the next video, and drop a comment if you have any clarifying questions. And as always, thank you for watching and have a good day.